After a thrilling spring season, it all comes down to this: the season finale of the Real Racers Virtual Club's spring season. Welcome to RaceSpotTV and Tuesday Night Action. My name is Nolan Siegel. I have Dylan Coyle beside me in the commentator's box, with Hugo Louise down behind the cameras for tonight's 25-minute race around Elkhart Lakes, Road America. So, Dylan, we come down to this, the season finale, and boy, what a finale it has been. As if being at Road America, one of the best road courses for racing in North America, wasn't enough, we also have the points battle, which is still as tight as ever, with just 4 points separating all of the podium drivers.
I mean, we were just talking about it last week. Road America as a finale, it is a beautiful thing to see, but look at that. Look at how close everybody is in the top 3 for the championship. We're going to decide a champion today. We might not even know until after the checkered flag waves and a little bit after that. It's going to be so close. I mean, the winner could potentially be any of these drivers. For example, if Sheldon is able to top the race and win it all, we might have an actual tie in the standings, which then would have to be seen back on countback. So there's so many questions going into this, Nolan. We just don't know what to expect.
It pretty much is a winner-takes-all scenario here. Either one of these guys, if they end up on the podium, they will have this championship pretty much locked up. But that's not the only battle, though. Look down at for 5th place in battle. You got the likes of Max Butler trying to fend off David Anderson, Anders Krohn, and Jeremy Clark. So 5th on back through 8th place. Just 8 points separating them. It is a very, very tight points battle all the way up and down throughout the field. So this has been one fantastic race so far. I mean, we came into the season at the halfway point as they were finishing up with their Phillip Island doubleheader. And I tell you what, this has just been an absolutely flawless season for these guys so far. It's been action-packed in every single race. I mean, heck, they even found a way to make Sonoma entertaining, which I guess goes to show just how good these drivers can track.
Wow, that's a dig at Sonoma if I've ever heard one. But yeah, I agree with you completely. There was some great racing there at a track that is notoriously hard to make moves at. Road America, it's just a little bit different. There's going to be some crazy blinding moves, and I wouldn't be shocked if some drivers are unable to complete the full distance, the full 25 minutes of this 4-mile circuit.
4 miles, one of the longest road course races in the United States of America, and one with a lot of pass opportunities as well. Obviously, the best one will be down at turn number 1, out through turn 14, down the longest straight here on the 9. The second longest straight through turns 3 to 5 at the Moraine Sweep is going to be a big key factor for passing zones as well. That is the tightest corner of the course. A downhill brake zone into a tight 90-degree left-hander. Counter the corner, turn 12, another very key pass opportunity, especially if you get a good run out. Maybe get that switchback going out through 13 and 14.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a track that you're going to have a good amount of passing zones. I mean, we were talking about Canada Corner. I know you're not the biggest fan of Canada Corner for yourself, I think. I mean, what is probably to you the most striking part of this track, maybe in difficulty or the importance of it to make sure a lap is done well?
Honestly, I would say the kink and the carousel. Those are 2 very easy corners you can mess up on, especially that kink. Those who watch the field throw their way through as we get towards the end of practice. It is such a very crucial corner to get right. It's so fast. It's completely flat out in just about every car there is, especially these Dallara Formula 3s, though. And I'll tell you what, one driver that definitely knows how important it is to get that corner right is no doubt Robert McGinnis. Unfortunately, McGinnis not joining us tonight from the looks of things, but he had himself a very good run in the Indy Lights just this past weekend. Picked up his first podium on the season in 2021 there. Finished 2nd on Sunday and 3rd place on Saturday. So he was racing at Road America in the Indy Lights just this past weekend. Overall, I'd say Robert McGinnis had a very successful weekend. It's just a shame that he couldn't come into this race and join us here, because no doubt he would have been a serious driver to contend with.
Yeah, why not go for a double podium for the first of your season? You know, it's really awesome to see a driver like Robert McGinnis. He is one of the younger stars of open wheel American auto racing. Take to a series like this in the virtual world so well. Obviously, we're not seeing him in the session tonight, but I mean, do you necessarily blame him? He's seen so much of Road America. I don't know how you could ever tire of Road America, but he very well may be, as the practice clock is winding down, and we're about to have 15 minutes of qualifying.
qualifying could be very crucial as to how this race plays out. Of course, we were also talking about points before the race. I haven't really talked about bonus points a whole lot, but there are bonus points awarded for the fastest race lap as well as the fastest pole lap here in qualifying. So these 15 minutes, they're going to be a long 15 minutes, and these drivers are going to have to make the absolute most out of them, especially since we take a look at the lap times from practice here, and with quite a few drivers here looking to make these potential starts here, they're only going to get themselves about 7 laps in.
Yeah, and it's not really going to be a lot if you make a mistake, because if you do just that, maybe you have to come back in, get a fresh set of tires. I don't think we're going to be seeing drivers go 7 straight laps. I think we may see 2 to 3 before they come back in. They get a fresh set of 4 tires onto the car and then go out for another little run. It's almost like that midway cooling down period we see in Formula One, where we saw in NASCAR when they had qualifying in Formula One fashion, I guess you could say. So not a surprise. I think we're going to see few laps count here. It's almost as if we're seeing, you're only going to get tires up to temperature for the back end of 3 laps once or twice in this session. So that's maybe 2 laps that you're going to have all the marbles in your stove basically to get it done.
So right on board with Jackson Ball out through the carousel, keeping it in nice and tight before making this run up to the turn 11 kink. And this is one of those corners, and I've actually seen this before, and I've actually timed it as well, Dylan. If you get that kink wrong and you're offline, we're talking about a second of time lost all the way down the straightaway. So it's not just the corner you're compromising yourself on, it's your entire run down the straightaway. And when you got to consider the draft factor, which is going to be huge in these cars, down that straightaway out through the kink, it's a bit of a corner that you definitely want to make sure that you keep it in nice and tight with.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right there. And as we're riding on board with Jackson Ball, you can see the driver just shaking so much. I think that just shows how abrasive of a surface that Road America really has. You're dealing with a lot of corners that have some asphalt off-track areas. That's why you see drivers utilizing as much of the track surface that they can without getting any penalties due to going off track. I mean, just at the corner of turn 1, we're seeing them come around right now. You see there's that little gray asphalt section that you can go over. We'll see it again in turn 2 down here. Look on the left side. You could go over just like Ball did with left side tires. It gets you more to run, but it closes up quickly and the grass is there and would damage your entire lap.
And look just up the road as well. He is also getting a good tow here from Hayden Fisher, the current points leader, coming into tonight's season rally. Oh yeah, way wide through turn 2. That's going to completely neutralize his run. And I was about to mention as well, the one thing he's got to be careful of is make sure it backs on the braking points as well as dirty air. And that's some of the dirty air I think that he just experienced there, pushing tight off of turn number 6 and nearly running into the grass. So Jackson Ball will no doubt have to abandon this lap at this point in time. That's 2 bad corners in a row. And at a track like Road America, where getting good runs off the corners is so important, I think that is just going to be enough to compromise the lap.
Yeah, but at the same time, you want to get an installation lap down. This is not going to be the lap where your tires are going to be at the highest temperatures. So as long as you get a time down, as long as you didn't go off track, get a 0x, anything like that, you should be sort of satisfied with the lap. Now, you might not want to be as close to somebody like Hayden Fisher by the time you start the next lap, because it's going to be the fastest, the warmest tires, the fastest lap you're going to have potentially over the course of the next 5-10 minutes of a session. So just don't get it wrong and try to deal with the dirty air as well as you can.
So we're going to come up over the rise for the first time tonight. The first driver to put down a time will be the 63 car of Rick Sheldon across the line for the 63. It is a 2-minute 6:12 for pole position for now. Jackson Ball with a 2-minute 7:69. So even with those 2 back corners, he still puts together a very respectable time. Dave Anderson just behind with a 2:01.027. Max Butler, though, top of the time boards with a 2-minute flat 0:55. So Max Butler currently the driver to beat in his number 1 machine. We'll look up front and start to ride on board with Escahana, who throws it for a loop at the exit of turn 5.
Well, and that's going to cost him a lot of time. He doesn't look like he had any damage come from the result of that. Didn't get close to the wall, but the tires are going to be screaming for mercy. So maybe it's not a bad idea to just go back into the pits, because that lap time is not going to count. By the way, the times we're currently seeing, obviously top on the leaderboard right now, is a 2-minute flat 3:55 by Butler. Well, the fastest time to run a 1:58.7. So they're going to get quicker. That was the installation lap. I'm just surprised they're running so close together. Yes, you're going to get the tow, but you're having to deal with a lot of dirty air.
Yeah, you absolutely are, and it's one of the things you really have to be careful on gauging. And honestly, taking a quick look back here at Matthew Escahana, I want to point out that he's actually brought forward something else that these drivers really have to look out for throughout the course of the race, and that's taking too much curb. Now, what you might think you're doing is that spin ended up coming as a result of just getting on the power too early. It wasn't. He took too much curb, dipped the tires actually into the grass to the inside, and bottomed the car out on the curb. So when he came back up, the weight was all shifted over the right side, and it just sent him around. So that's one of those things that's very easy to do, especially in the corners, particularly at turns 1, 5, and 12. Also the biggest pass opportunities on the track. Those are corners that drivers have to look out for, but turn 5, it's the biggest culprit among them.
Oh man, you bring up a great point, because once you go over the curbs, because of how low to the ground these F3 vehicles are, you're going to have to deal with that bottoming out happening a lot. I mean, I always like to say, if you want to see a track where some lower level open wheel cars do not enjoy, Suzuka. Because you think about all the cars that are bottoming out there, all the cars that are so low to the ground, and how high the curbs are at Suzuka with the off-camber straights, I guess you could say. You're going to have to deal with that there. A much lesser extent at Road America, but again, this is Road America. You're still going to have to deal with the bottoming out, and it's not like we're seeing the suspension at the same level as, for example, an IR18 IndyCar. They're able to deal with the curbing in a lot better ways, but it's still a little bit stiffer, I'd say, here in the F3 series, with all the setups being identical.
In the midst of all of this battle going on, USF 2000 driver Nolan Siegel has put his machine up on pole, and just behind Nicholas Leo, making a good run for second, less than half a tenth off of your current pole sitter for now. So we take a look at Matthew Escahana, who is one of those drivers that is still yet to set a lap tonight. Had that spin in his first fly lap at this very corner. Oh, but this time takes too much gravel on the exit, and that's an equally easy way to spin your car around. Escahana is slowly running out of time, though. He's only going to be able to really get in about 3-4 time laps at this point, so he's got to get the move on here if he wants to contend for the pole position.
By the way, Siegel's lap, it looked like he was on a fast lap. It's not going to count. He went off track somewhere, so I mean, it's a big mistake just to go even slightly off track, because that eliminates your time. And because of how big this track is, you're going to have to go 2 minutes at most to get another lap, and you won't even have fresh tires. We're already well past the halfway point of this qualifying session. And just like you were saying, Escahana has not put in a qualifying time so far. We're seeing it right now. Should have the time in around 30 seconds. Anything sub 2 minutes would be nice for him right now. It would put him into at least 4th position.
Driver that has gotten turned up the wick and has gotten into the sub 2 minute times is Jackson Ball, who goes provisional pole with a 1:59.771 in the number 7 machine. So one of the drivers certainly looking to turn up the wick at the moment. Escahana is the only driver in the 11 car grid that has not set a qualifying time at the moment, so he's going to be coming on out here. This will not be the start of his first time lap. I believe he might still have to make that one actual lap down there on the racetrack, and he will have to make one more full lap where he'll be able to get around. So he's only got 3 laps left in him.
That must have been an eliminated time right there, because he crossed the line with just over 2 minutes flat, and I mean, that's not an out lap right there. That has to have been an eliminated time as well.
Well, I can see. I think it really honestly might have just been an out lap. I'm not even seeing the deleted time up for his second lap, only the first one where he obviously had that spin out of turn 5. So we'll have to see how this is going to play out. So on board Jackson Ball. Meanwhile, Zach Hudson has put himself on the top of the time board with a 1:59.5 dead. So Nolan Siegel is immediately going to top that one with a 159.267.
Wow.
So the Jackson coming down to the battle for pole. Jackson Ball off the circuit in an effort to try to go for more.
Well, look at Zach Hudson. He just went 1955.
Here's the 1595 there, Bill.
I said 1955, didn't I?
You did.
You know, sometimes I just make mistakes, Nolan. It's what, 7:30 p.m. Pacific time over there. It's 10:30 here, and then I think our producer Hugo Luis is at sitting at what, 12:30? Is it right now, p.m. or a.m. I should say, in Brazil?
Something along those lines. Definitely not easy to do. Joe Butler, look at Butler setting the time now, 159.209. So the time's continuing to come down. Butler's next best time was actually 1 second slower, which only would have been good enough for the 8th position. So Joe Butler is now turning up the wing. Now what can Escahana do? He's the last driver to set a time with just 4 minutes left on the clock here. Coming across the line, this will not be enough. Oh, it might be. No, not quite. Up to third though. Escahana, he's on it now.
Wow, so that was a really good lap right there, and he's now at no, he went off track at the end of turn 1. So I was just about to say, now the tires are heated up, he can go for it here, see if he can get that qualifying time to get on pole, but immediately messes it up. He'll have maybe one more shot.
Might have 2, depends on how fast you can get back around to start finish. Of course, that's one of the advantages here of open qualifying. You do have that ability to keep your lap.
Nolan, it's not a typo, it's not a glitch. It is Butler and Butler, 1 and 2 up there.
And that is, of course, Max Butler now that's going up to second place, just 5,000 seconds behind, but not for long. Nolan Siegel again picks them both. The first time to the 158s this time. So the number 10 car, every time somebody goes up there and takes pole, Nolan Siegel's like, no, you don't. Get back down there where you belong. The USF 2000 driver, he really wants pole position today. Rich Chona goes off the track. Hayden Fisher follows him off with some target fixation. They're trying to keep it the draft.
Well, looks like they'll have 2 more opportunities, though, to get some lap times down. I think that Escahana will as well. We'll just have to see exactly where he is. I mean, there are so many mistakes right now, and it's just because they're pushing it to the very limit. We see Joe Butler come across the line. Is this time enough? No, it's half a second slower than what his previous best was in that 2.2 range, 159.2. So we're riding on board with Max Butler now. He's only going to have this lap and the next to set a very fast time. Escahana, by the way, is about to cross the line once again. We'll see exactly what time he is going to put down. Oh, actually, I will lie right now. He had I was about to say 195, a 159.5 there, and that was while also going off track in turn 1. Can you imagine what that speed will be if he's able to keep it on the asphalt?
So at the moment, there will be no further time lapse once you guys cross the line. I mean, you're going to be on your last lap here in just a few short order. I think at the moment, Zach Hudson and Nolan Siegel have enough time to complete their last and start another one. Rick Sheldon is a solid maybe. Hayden Fisher, I don't think has enough, though, to be able to make it back. So we'll have to wait and see how this is all going to play out. We look at Sheldon now, a driver who is definitely looking to make a run to the points lead coming into this race. Only 4 points back with Hayden Fisher when you factor in the 3 drop weeks that these guys take out of the races, dropping the 3 worst point scoring results. Tell you what, Rick Sheldon, he is in desperate need here of a good starting position. And right now, 7th place, it just ain't going to cut it.
Yeah, just not going to cut it at all, but it is a 25-minute race, and even though it does not feel like a long amount of time, there's a lot of mistakes that can happen. However, he's got to finish in the top 2 if he wants a chance, I think.
Across the line now, will this be good enough to improve a 159.865? It will not be enough. Rich Sheldon has to settle for another spot. He has the room, though, to go one more lap. So does Jackson Ball, Hayden Fisher, and Joe Butler. Dave Anderson will be able to make it back as well, as will Kurt Penzager. Looks like just about everybody here might be able to get one extra lap if they can make it back within the next 30 seconds. And I think Matthew Escahana might just be that last driver on track. Max Butler, though, definitely will not be able to make it back in time The number 1 car currently sitting in 3rd place. He's got himself about half a second, about a third of a second, excuse me, to make up to Nolan Siegel up on pole. Not gonna do it though, runs off the track, and that is qualifying done dusted for Max Butler.
Escahana is about to cross the line. We'll see what time. Oh, a 1:59.1. It looks like it's going to improve his time, but actually, did he go off track somewhere? Because it did not improve his time at all. Checkered flag is out. These are the last laps for all of the drivers.
He did go off track at the end of it, so that's so unfortunate for himself. So next driver up to cross the line, Nolan Siegel. He's already on pole position by about a quarter of a second here. So all he needs to do here is just get himself up one more. Joe Butler's already retired to the pits, so he's going to be sitting where he is. Will not get another lap in. So Nolan Siegel, current pole sitter. Can he hang on to it though? Coming up the hill and over the line. It's 1:58.973. Will he improve on this time as he crosses the line? A 1:58.826. That's almost matching his pole time. 1,000th off.
Unbelievable there. That was a fantastic drive in qualifying for Nolan Siegel. He couldn't exactly match his practice time, which was a 1:58.759. But, I mean, when you're one of the only 2 drivers in any of these sessions so far to get into the 1:58, you'll take it.
David Fisher, the points leader, the next driver to cross the line, currently starting in 7th place in the number 11 machine. Can he improve? He's got a 1:58.825 to beat. Will this be enough? Does not quite look like it. David Fisher is going to be sitting all the way back. Jackson Ball was aboard. Penzager, the next one up. So Penzager is going to be up and over the line now in the number 8 car, currently starting dead last. The only driver in the 2-minute range, a 2-minute 1:40. Not enough to beat him. Looks as the one driver is going to pull it down to pit road. Penzager, excuse me, bows out, as does Nicholas Leo. Matt Escahana, the last driver across the line. 1:59, 1:89. He's done it. He's on the front row.
You could feel it coming the entirety of that qualifying session, that he was right there. He just needed a little bit more to get into that top 2 starting position. And now Escahana, by all means, he is the driver, well, in the driver's seat of this championship fight.
This is crucial for him. He is currently 3 points back from Hayden Fisher. Hayden Fisher started way down the order. So as it sits at the moment, Matthew Escahana would be your champion. Of course, neither of these drivers got that bonus point for the pole time. That has gone to Nolan Siegel with a 1:58.825. Of course, Siegel is not a factor in any of the battles at the moment in the points. So that is a stolen point away from the top 8 drivers.
Hayden Fisher, I didn't think he got back to the line, but he will be finishing out this lap. Oh, not in a good way. That is a qualifying attempt over for him.
And that will throw the checkered flag on qualifying as well. So let's take a rundown now for the final round here in the Real Races Virtual Club. Started it off, Nolan Siegel out on the pole. Matthew Escahana started in 2nd place, just 0.3 of a second off. Joe Butler is in 3rd with Max Butler in 4th. Jackson Ball starts in 5th place with Zach Hudson down in 6th. Hayden Fisher is in 7th with Rick Sheldon in 8th. Nicholas Leo, Dave Anderson, and Kurt Penzager rounding out this 11-car field. And it is a long pace lap ahead of these drivers, too, as they go for the full 4 miles around the Road America Speed. Well, not a speedway, is it? It's just Road America.
The Road America racetrack.
Racing facility. There we go.
Racing facility, the motorsports complex. You know, completely off topic, I'd love to see, I believe it's the Utah Motorsports, was it Park? Utah Motorsports Park. I love that track. I'd love to see it put into service one day.
Let's take a look at that one. I don't think I've ever actually heard of that place before now, so you've enlightened me to something today, that a facility fits in Utah.
It's quite the wonderful facility, I must say. But nonetheless, we're about to get going here with this pace lap. You know, everyone qualified just over a second between each other, and I must say that's really impressive over a 4-mile circuit.
It certainly is, and it just goes to show how competitive these drivers are with each other. So, well, while we're waiting, because it is a long pace lap, it's a 2-minute race lap alone. So let's give a shout out here to the guys that help keep the lights on here for the Real Racers Virtual Club. And we'll start things off by giving a huge thanks out to the Steffi Wilson Racing Academy, which they solely exist to assist clients on their motorsport journey. Swara utilizes 20 plus years in the sport with advanced coach techniques, track and car knowledge, and a widespread international industry connections to help clients progress to any level imaginable. Whether you're new to driving on track or an experienced amateur racer, they will help you to develop driving skills that will enable you to climb through the Ferrari Challenge ranks, win races in the Ferrari Challenge, and advance to compete in pro or amateur racing, and one day possibly iconic races such as the Daytona 24 or the Le Mans 24 hours. Stefan Wilson, of course, the founder of Swara and a current NTT IndyCar driver. He competed in the 105th run of the Indy 500 with Andretti Autosport. Unfortunately, did not quite go his way, but no doubt Wilson will be trying to make a big return here come fall here for the Real Race Virtual Club. Also, Mera Partners, they're a high-end boutique car dealership specializing in Porsche and Ferrari. With an extensive network of private clients, Mera curates rare and exotic cars for the purpose of buying, selling, and creating investment portfolios. The focus of Mera is to build long-term relationships over time, choosing to have a narrower focus and going deeper with clients. Additionally, Mera offers a wide range of peripheral services for clients, including car storage, detailing, specialty parts, and paint protection film. Those are guys that help to keep the lights on here for the Real Race Virtual Club. We talked about how Mera Partners, they got that car to show specialized Porsche and Ferrari. Do you reckon, Dylan, they might one day get themselves the good official iRacing official Porsche 911 GT3 Cup pace car?
I mean, that would be something, but of course, we need to love the official iRacing pace car, which it's very unique. I'm trying to think of the best car to label it as, what it most looks like. The iRacing safety car right there. I mean, it's quite the beauty.
It certainly is. I mean, it really is a Porsche 911 GT3 Cup car without the rear wing and some safety lights slapped onto the top of it. Apart from that, it's pretty much the same thing underneath as far as I'm concerned. Although, obviously, the speed that it runs through a track such as Sonoma will definitely have you to believe otherwise.
Well, I know that the speed I'd run at a track like Sonoma would definitely lead you to believe that these guys are going quicker than I am right now, so.
It's fair. That's me too. That sums my iRacing career in a nutshell right there. Coming up now to the final set of corners before we go green for the final race in the Real Races Virtual Club Spring Formula 3 season. It's certainly been a very anticipated race and a very hard-fought one as well. So we take a look down at the point stands one more time. Hayden Fisher, 132 points coming into the day. Matthew Escahana, 3 points back, 129. Currently the driver in favor to win is Escahana. Sheldon, just 1 point behind Escahana with 128. Dylan, your final thoughts here as we round these final corners.
Well, sitting right now, Matthew Escahana is in the catbird seat to become champion in the next 25 minutes. Fisher, it was his championship after struggles at Sonoma. Can he do anything about it? I don't quite know. Let's see how this first lap goes.
The iRacing safety car pulls down to pit road. Nolan Siegel not waiting at all. He launches early, and we are green flag racing here from Road America for the season finale of the Real Racers Virtual Club Spring Season. It's a breakaway from the top two, side by side for third, with Max Butler and Joe Butler trying to do battle side by side. Coming down to the turn of the board for the first time today, Zach Hudson deep on the brakes. Can't make the run around Joe Butler, though. Looks like Max, though, runs a bit too wide and takes that turn one. That allows Joe Butler to get the move on. This is going to allow the top two to break away even further. Here comes Hudson throwing it down the inside of Max Butler on the exit of turn two. Looking clean for now. Escahana, though, still within drafting distance of your race leader.
Hayden Fisher with a horrible start right there. Immediately was jumped by Rick Sheldon, and down this long straightaway, Dave Anderson might have a go at him. At the end of it, looks like he's not close enough to get anything done, but it's just been a horror start for Fisher.
Still side by side between the two Butlers here. They have been side by side almost the entirety of the first lap so far, and finally Max Butler pulls on ahead. A very clean start though so far throughout the entirety of the field, side by side just in behind, with Jackson Ball and Zach Hudson holding up both points leaders, Rick Sheldon and Hayden Fisher. Hayden Fisher desperately trying to climb the ranks, trying to keep Escahana potentially at bay, but he is continuing to pull away out in front. Rick Sheldon just in front of him. is going to manage to maintain the 7th place for now, but he does oh, so does Fisher, big time.
Oh man, Hayden Fisher is about to drop back. Oh man, that was a naughty move right there. A bit of a desperate move to cut off. I couldn't quite see who that was, but it keeps him still out of last place. It's just, I mean, come on, Fisher's got to get it together if he wants to win this championship, Nolan.
Shout out to Kurt Penzager there for some serious heads-up driving to avoid Hayden Fisher as he came back across the track to cut him off and slam the door shut at the entry to the King. Looks like, apart from that minor scrap, though, we are completely clean at the end of lap number 1. Nolan Siegel leads the way with Matthew Escahana just in behind, 3/4 of a second back. In behind, Nicholas Leo tangling with Rick Sheldon down to the pit wall. Leo gets blocked. Rick Sheldon not taking prison, staying in the number 63 car. Nicholas Leo, I mean, that almost looked there, Dylan, like it did between Michael Schumacher and Pastor Maldonado down at the Hockenheim, not the Hockenheim ring, excuse me, the Hungaro ring in 2011.
Yeah, that was maybe a little bit naughtier. I think that was Barrichello who was getting involved there, but oh man. Hayden Fisher is trying to make a move, by the way, and he's getting blocked the entire way by Dave Anderson. Maybe a move on the outside here as we're switching through. Everybody having some action. Rick Sheldon, he gets to deal with Nicholas Leo spinning right underneath him, but nothing goes wrong for Sheldon. Now it's time for him to start chasing after drivers like Hudson, Ball, and Butler.
Unfortunately, that spin right in the background there for Nicholas Leo, that was as a result of just getting on the throttle too early. The curbs had nothing to do with that one there. Despite that back end really snapping around him, you'd think it might have, but not for when I took my second look at it. So take a look up here to Joe Butler, and now we're going to take this look back here at this incredible battle. This is down the front straight as well. Look at how little room there's between. The wheels are interlocked as well. We're talking, honestly, Leo could have taken Sheldon out of the race right there. When they were interlocked, all he had to do was tap the brakes, and Sheldon's going flying.
I mean, great racing, a little bit, you know, putting the elbows out, if you will, right there. And great driving from Leo before, obviously, the spin and slow speeds to basically keep it out of the wall and keep it off the car of Sheldon. But looking ahead at everything else, Escahana, Siegel, they've broken away from the pack. Right now, as it stands, Escahana would be champion.
Joe Butler and Zach Hudson are looking to do a battle here. The number 9 car going to make up a pass and pick up 5th place from Joe Butler's number 13. Butler tries to switch back to the inside, gets a dive going, oh, contact, and Zach Hudson punted off at the exit of turn number 1, comes right back onto the track, and everybody manages to avoid him as he comes back on. Anderson and Fisher having to go evasive, and ultimately lose a spot to Kurt Penzager as well. The only driver behind him, Nicholas Leo, having his own spin, going to immediately take 1 spot back from the number 8 machine. Not pretty there with Zach Hudson. That was a move that Joe Butler just got that switch back going. In all fairness, though, the Butler, he was fully alongside.
We'll catch the replay right here, and yeah, that's, you gotta let that, man, yeah, you kind of have to feel bad for him right there, kind of getting hit offline, but if you see him have the space, well, leave it a space, as they say.
Yes.
In the most elegant
location.
Yeah, so we'll catch the replay from up top. You know what? Looking at it from up top, you think that he kind of drove down into it.
It's an interesting call, isn't it? I mean, he got the car. Wow. Oh, okay. I will give Hudson this. It was a very late dive and one that probably should have been held up until turn 5. On the other hand, though, I honestly think Butler was going to make that a clean pass. He was fully alongside. He was giving him all the room he needed to work with on the outside line. He did not overshoot. So it's these things that make it a very difficult thing to judge. And I honestly feel that might just be one of those racing deals. When you're in the season finale, everybody's scrapping away for the final points left. Only 26 up for grabs. It's estimated for the race leader altogether. 27, that is, if Nolan Siegel can also pull away with a race win here today as well.
The other thing we have to worry about for these championship standings, it might not end up mattering, but the car, the driver with the fastest lap of the race will get that extra bonus point. and that's from wherever position they finish in. So, I mean, Fisher and Sheldon, it is not over if they can gain a few more spots here by the end of the race. And I think they will. We've seen the attrition rate in terms of staying clean from any accidents. We saw that at Sonoma. A lot of drivers getting into it at the front of the field. So there's still positions left to be had here. Still positions left to be gained. Will Fisher send it? Will he lick that stamp coming down into 5? The block from Sheldon. Fisher going around the outside, locks it up, and he's going to have to get it back on track. Will he lose a position? I think he's going to hold it, but he's going to give some inside space. Don't let yourself come out of the race like that. Keeps it clean and keeps it going.
That's part of that casualty is about having to run with the draft there, just overshooting the breaking point. You saw the massive lockup he had to do to slow that car down, and he and Dave Anderson nearly had another scrap. Anderson decided to back off, though. Turn 6, not really a corner you could go side by side through. Yeah, we take a look at the points situation again. You mentioned that bonus point for fastest lap. We've already know that Siegel has got that 1 point for the pole position. For the fastest lap, though, at the moment, that would also go to Nolan Siegel. So 1:59.557 right now, fastest lap of the race. The closest driver to that is Matt Escahana, but it's half a second back. So that Matt Escahana has a lot of time to work up. He wants to get that bonus point for the fastest lap. It's more crucial though for these guys in the back to get a Hayden Fisher and Rick Sheldon. It could be the difference here between losing this championship and maybe clinging on by the skin of their teeth or winning it on countback.
Well, Fisher right now would have 14 points in the bag, while Sheldon would have 15. Obviously, I think we're going to see a potential change. These two championship battlers, they're going to go side by side into one. Fisher on the outside. Will he be able to stick it? Sheldon, oh, he was being a little gracious right there and almost gave the position up, Nolan.
If you get into run out of turn 3 here, that might work in Sheldon's favor because he's going to be able to get a huge run down to turn 5, and he's going to get that run here. Hayden Fisher misses the apex at turn 3, so Rick Sheldon will be able to use the drafter and get a run at Hayden Fisher down to the turn 5, and it's a lot harder to pass the sections afterwards, and Rick Sheldon could use the rear to his advantage, maybe try to pull away. He's not going to be close enough, though, by the time they get to the braking zone. But look at how much he is going to close up again just on the exit. That should go show just how quick Rick Sheldon can be. Look out for Dave Anderson, though. That 62 car. Oh, he's going to spin right behind your leaders.
Okay, well, that's a broadcaster's curse if I've ever heard one. Watch out for the Dave Anderson car. Oh, he has a spin.
And tell me about it. I was going to say, as he is looking to work his way out through the field and spun at the perfect time to correct myself. Oh, Hayden Fisher just had him off. Right at turn 6. That allows Sheldon to go back through at the entrance of the carousel, but not by much. Hayden Fisher's close enough. He could get the cutback here out through the kink and down to Canada corner. Turn 12 is in one of those corners where it's a little more difficult to pass, but it is still very much doable just how high speed it is. Hayden Fisher misses the apex, though, but still has the draft.
I mean, I think we're just going to see another example of going down the inside here. They're both side by side. It's difficult to make that pass. Sheldon goes well wide. Fisher gave him a lot of, or was given a lot of room to work with, just did not take any advantage of it. Maybe he's thinking it's going to be smarter to make the move down into one.
It is, you do have a lot more room to work with here as well. It's a much easier corner they can pass into, so we'll have to see here how this is going to work out for Hayden Fisher. Looks like Kurt Penzager, has had it off in the final corner. We'll probably touch in on that in just a moment, but for now, let's keep eyes on this battle. Sheldon goes defensive. Hayden Fisher, can he take this one around the outside for turn 1? Just barely clears. Rick Sheldon gives him the space to work with. Now the question is, will Rick Sheldon be able to get that cutback? He was not able to get close enough last time by. Down for turn 5. We'll have to see if he can get a better run out this time around.
Which lap are we on? That looked just the exact same as last lap. The move that Fisher made around the outside, it almost looked like Sheldon just gave it up.
Here he is. Sheldon's a lot closer this time around. Closer with the move. Oh, shuts him off. The points leader, both points leaders are off and into the run-up here. We have turn 5. Huge championship implications here. Hayden Fisher's gone off. Sheldon's gone off. This is basically handed the championship on a silver platter to Matthew Escahana.
Well, that is unfortunately on Rick Sheldon right there. He couldn't get the car slowed down in time. We'll catch the replay. This huge draft, and I mean, it wasn't even close. Sheldon got into the back of him. So, you know, you feel for both drivers, obviously. You feel a little worse for Fisher because he didn't do anything to lead to that incident. Escahana now, I mean, basically the only thing that will take Escahana out of a championship win is himself. And he is under 2 seconds behind her. Right now, just a little bit over 2 seconds behind Siegel for the win. He just has to keep it clean.
Unbelievable turn of events here at Road America in the season finale. I mean, that is both main title contenders who are dual battling with each other in an effort to try to pick up the scratch for second place. And like I said, and well, like what you said as well here, Dylan, the only way Escahana now loses this championship is if he wrecks. That is the only possible way at the moment that Escahana can lose that, because even if he falls back to maybe third or fourth, he is still going to be having enough to be able to take away those positions even after the next drop week here is factored in. This is unbelievable here for Hayden Fisher especially, though. I mean, Hayden Fisher was looking to be a really good contender to this race. He was the points leader coming into this race, and now he's fallen back to one of the last up-the-pace cars out there.
You do have to wonder as well, I mean, where Fisher is in 10th place, I think this would also serve as one of his drop weeks. So, I mean, he's pretty much not going to gain anything off of where he currently is. His worst race was 9 points, second worst was 12 points, and his third worst was 13 points that he got over the course of a race. I mean, that is consistently good where those are your worst scores, but at that same token, you're also going to potentially not gain anything at the end. Escahana is doing a fantastic job right here. And I know how confusing, Nolan and I, we were talking about it, how confusing the drop weeks can be when trying to figure out a champion. Well, thankfully, right now it seems like it's pretty straightforward.
Well, fortunately for Escahana, at least, very unfortunately, though, for both Sheldon and Fisher, who no doubt neither driver feeling very good after that one. I mean, look at Rick Sheldon. He is still struggling here, trying to hang on to spots from Nicholas Leo. I'm honestly surprised, that both those cars weren't torn up more in that accident. No, almost no damage on either vehicle here.
Oh,
so,
man.
oh, hello. Leo trying to with the launch.
I mean, Leo has no reason to take it easy on Sheldon. If you remember back in the very first few minutes of this race, they were both going very close to the wall on this front stretch. Could we have a repeat of that?
We'll have to see here. Nicholas Leo and Rick Sheldon. Will Rick Sheldon try to go defensive? He is. Will he block the pit wall? Maybe not so much. Nicholas Leo still has a great run. He's going to fake it. Well, not fake it. He's going to go down to the inside here. Leo picks up the spot for Rick Sheldon down to the turn one. Sheldon's trying to fight this one out, though. Trying to squeeze in on the outside line on the exit. No going, though, for the 63 car. He's got him back off. Nicholas Leo holds 8th place.
Hayden Fisher just in behind in that blue number 11 machine. Not going to be close enough to make a move, but Sheldon, he's going to be close enough if he wants to just absolutely send it here against Nicholas Leo. He almost hit him again.
Well, that would have been cruel irony there at the moment for Rick Sheldon. Talk about not only taking out your main title contender, but then at the same stage, just a couple laps later, taking out somebody that has nothing to do with your title fight. It's worth noting, though, that Nicholas Leo, I think the only reason why Rick Sheldon did not hit him was because Nicholas Leo saw him and bailed out of the corner himself.
Yeah, no, you're completely right about that. Leo is off track right in front of Sheldon. Gives Hayden Fisher the spot, basically, and now Sheldon is going to try and repay the favor that he still... I don't even know how many favors Sheldon has kind of handed out so far in this race, but nobody seems to be happy with his driving so far.
There is the off there for Nicholas Leo, just running and carrying much speed to the exit of the corner there. Sheldon looking to do battle, coming down for turn 12 again to the corner, looking for the inside. Not close enough, though, and this time Nicholas Leo does not have to bail out to avoid him. So Rick Sheldon's going to be able to stick with the 69 car here. He'll be able to maybe make this run work down to the turn of one. He's certainly going to be close enough. Now the question is here, will Nicholas Leo be able to maybe use the driver hate efficient to run it down? I don't think he's going to have nearly enough of it though.
But Rick Sheldon is going to have enough of this draft to potentially go side by side right at the line like they're doing with Leo.
So Sheldon and Leo in the drag race now down towards turn number 1, a bit more than a quarter mile, arguably. Not quite. Leo couldn't get the momentum. It's so hard to go for an over-under like that if your opponent on the inside keeps perfect to the racing line like Rick Sheldon just did.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. But what we're going to see here, it's almost like every lap we're seeing it right back and forth. It's going to be another potential move from Nicholas Leo onto Rick Sheldon, side by side, going into this hard braking zone. It looks like it's going to be easy. Sheldon is fighting back on the outside. That is some good racing there.
Still sticking with him though, still alongside, gonna try to push the outside of turn 6. Not a passing zone there, and he's gonna bail out.
Yeah, that is never a passing zone, regardless of where you are, whether you're on the inside or outside. I mean, you saw just how difficult it was for Leo to get the car slowed down while going up the hump. I mean, that's a hill that you have to slow down on, and the turn-in point is basically right at the crest of it. So it's difficult to get that right regardless of whether or not you're making a move. When you are trying to make a move stick, it's a little more difficult.
Out through the king, Sheldon with the run with just 7 minutes to go. Gonna look for the outside line here. Oh, Nicholas Leo's gonna cut him off. Sheldon with a dive bomb down the inside for turn 12. Now Nicholas Leo could go for the crossover, but cannot get the throttle down in time. He'll be close enough though. He could have that look down into turn 1 if he really wants to.
All right. If I were a betting man, Nolan, I would say that these two drivers are going to come together in a big way before the final lap of this race is taken.
It has unfortunately tended to be the way these races have gone now. Well, ever since we started covering this series, really, at Phillip Island at just the start of the second half of the season. Leo gonna look for the inside, this time from a bit further back. Up on the alongside, there you go! You call the dealing contact! Sheldon goes wide, but somehow manages to recover the car.
I mean, I don't want to say I told you so, but I told you so.
Take another look at this one. Leo down the inside, and unfortunately Sheldon just did not give Leo room to work with, and that sends Sheldon a little bit wide. Once again, unfortunately, Rick Sheldon only has himself to blame for that one. I mean, Nicholas Leo stuck to the racing line, did not push wide. Sheldon turned down. It's so unfortunate as well because Rick Sheldon had the potential to go for that championship, and all the mistakes that we've been seeing so far, most of them have been on him, which is such a huge shame to see.
Yeah, you're definitely right on that. Most of this has all been, unfortunately, resting on the shoulders of Sheldon. All of the mistakes, Fisher going off. I mean, it's really been down to his own mistakes. And you never like to blame a driver for anything, but I mean, the role as a commentator analyst is to say what is happening and give your take on it. Unfortunately, the only take I can see is that Sheldon has had some suspect driving in this race.
5 minutes ago, an estimated 3 laps on the clock for your overall race leader, Nolan Siegel, who is coming down through turn 1 this time by Max Butler. Meanwhile, has taken over the spot of the fastest lap of the race so far, a 1:58.812, which, by the way, was also about 13 thousandths of a second faster than Nolan Siegel's pole time. So there's a little tidbit for you.
And by the way, don't get me wrong about Sheldon. He is trying. I mean, he came into this race with the possibility of a championship. If he could just get it onto a podium spot, he could have been champion. And you can tell that there's some frustration. You're trying to get every inch. It's just he hasn't been on top of his game at all in this race. We've seen him have some great races so far this season. Unfortunately, when he really needed it most, it just didn't come.
And at the moment we take a look back, this is with Kurt Penzager, and he has started to close in on Rick Sheldon slowly but surely, reeling in That number 63 car effort to try to maybe take away the 10th position and bring himself into a top 10 position, which, by the way, would bump Sheldon down to the last car of the running order. Well, heads up, smoke on the road. Nicholas Leo has just had to spin at the 69 car. The car that just made contact with Sheldon a little while ago. What happened to Leo?
And Dave Anderson. Hey, listen. We might have a championship battle still to come. Dave Anderson just spun out in front of Hayden Fisher. Fisher is now in 7th position, and look at how close Max Butler is to Matthew Escahana. I mean, this championship isn't over.
I don't know if it would be enough. We'll have to wait and see. This is what happened to Leo. Oh, that's just the car getting a light under braking. There's a crest. The helicopter angle doesn't really show it from there, but there's a big lip over the hill right there. He braked as soon as the back came over that hill, and you just lose all grip. It's like you're driving on a skating rink. So that's just a case of braking a little bit too aggressively coming over the crest of a hill.
Okay, so I've just worked out the math as well as I could. Right now with Fisher being in 7th place, I believe that is 14 points on the day. If Max Butler is able to pass Matthew Escahana in the final couple laps here, then Escahana would come out of this race with 18 points. That's a 4-point swing, would put the championship into Escahana's favor by a single point. There are still some championship battles to be held here. If Fisher is able to pull a fastest lap out of the bag here, I mean, there's no dirty air to worry about, but he doesn't have the toe. There would be a tie if all of that happens.
And if there's a tie,
and if there's a spin,
Fisher was out back.
Correct.
So all of a sudden, Matthew Escahana's got to get a move on. He can't really afford to wait around for Max Butler just behind. I'm trusting Matthew's right here on this one, Dylan, because you and I both know ain't my strong suit. We figured that out. We well established that before the broadcast today, and the half hour is spent just trying to figure this out. Will you spend trying to tutor me, trying to figure this out? So I'm trusting that your math's correct here. So Max Butler and Matthew Escahana, two drivers that, even though themselves are not battling for the championship, but could have very huge championship implications. And there's only a second between them. We're coming to that last lap as well. Max Butler has a second to gain, and that could swing the championship in a very big way.
I mean, you also have to think of it this way. If one of Jackson Ball, Butler, Hudson, if one of them spins, if Fisher is able to gain one more position and Escahana loses this position to Butler on the final lap of the race, the championship, I believe, would be Hayden Fisher's. I mean, it's this close on the final lap here.
Last lap of the race, under a minute remaining. Nolan Siegel coming through turn 3. Matthew Escahana hot on his heels, trying to keep Max Butler at bay. The gap is closing, by the way. 9/10. Max Butler's got that draft. Behind Kurt Penzager, Nicholas Leo going side by side for the last position on the grid. Leo's going to go down the inside of Kurt Penzager into turn number 1. And will not make much of a fuss about this battle here. Penzager, can he fight it back potentially? Don't think he'll quite be able to get there.
Oh,
Still
man.
has that run.
Butler is right on Escahana's tail. He is right there, Nolan. He is right there.
With the two battles, you go, oh no, now he's Max Butler with the massive tank slapper out through turn number 8, I think that was. That, I think, might have just settled it, and that was the break that Escahana needed. In behind, the battle for 10th and 11th on the course is going to go side by side again as Nicholas Leo tries to pull off a move around Kurt Penzager. Penzager locked it up coming down to the turn 5. Neither driver made contact, so we're still going with this battle here for the final spot on the racetrack.
Butler would have overtaken Escahana, I believe, right down in the last few corners of this race if he didn't have that tank slapper. But it looks like Nolan Siegel is going to come across as the winner and Escahana as the champion.
Out to the final corner, Nolan Siegel is going to be coming across the line over the crest of the final time. Nolan Siegel wins the race, but Matthew Escahana is the Rio Racers Virtual Club Spring Series champion by the smallest of margins. Thanks to Max Butler's own mistake at the tail of the season. You can tell that is a happy, happy man right there, trying to pull some drifting maneuvers off down that front straightaway. Looks like still some miles to go, though. Dave Anderson and Rick Sheldon looking to do battle coming into the final corner now. Can Sheldon pick up one more from Dave Anderson? Don't think he's going to quite be able to get there in time.
Amazing. Amazingly tense racing. Oh, no! Look at this.
Oh!
Very last moment of the race. He does get him. He squeaks by. And by the way, I know we're not seeing it right now, but I wonder if it's in a bit of anger at himself. Hayden Fisher is sitting in a little poor shape, as I think, as well as as Nicholas Leo.
Well, we saw that at Silverstone. Wouldn't be surprised if it was the same situation here today. Take a look at the post-race results, though, that concluded the championship running here at Road America. Nolan Siegel, your race winner. Matthew Escahana, 1.5 seconds back in the second position with Max Butler in third. Jackson Ball sits fourth with Joe Butler in fifth. Zach Hudson in sixth position with Hayden Fisher in seventh. Rick Sheldon, eighth. Dave Anderson, ninth. Nicholas Leo in 10th, with Kurt Penzager rounding out the 11-car field in the season finale. What a way to win a championship there for Matthew Escahana. I think he's got to thank your top two finishers as a result of that one after their massive collision there. Well, we're going to bring up a couple of guys here, and we're going to be able to give these guys a little bit of a chat here as we get set to wrap things up. We're going to wrap things up here with Nolan Siegel, the race winner on the day. Well, Nolan, you come into this race, what a race for you as well. You took the pole, almost took past this lap, ended up taking the race win, leading every single lap of the race, so a dominant finish for you.
Yeah, it was great. Really fun to come out here and race with these guys, so it was pretty close, actually, all throughout qualifying, practice, and the race, so great job to everyone.
It was looking like a very solid run for you. I mean, you were able to just get the hammer down and cruise away. Your qualifying lap was not as fast as your practice lap. You're about a 10th off there, but you immediately put the wick down again when it came race time. And I think it's safe to say that you were fast. It's a bit of an understatement. A 1:58.957, the third fastest lap on the race, and one of only 3 times to set a 1:58 in the race as well. So overall, I'd say about as good of a race as you could possibly have here. So what was the secret today to help you be fast out there?
Well, I actually just got home from racing at Road America in real life, so that certainly didn't hurt. The sim does a great job of modeling this track. So yeah, a lot of fun. I didn't get a tow to get to the past lap. I think the tow is worth a lot here, but yeah, overall a good evening.
Good evening, to say the very least. And when we take a look at the seasons coming forward, of course, this is not going to be the last season in the Real Racers Virtual Club. You were not quite a title contender. This one came in a little bit late to the scene, but I mean, we look forward to the next season. And with how fast you've been over the last few races, you reckon you could go for a championship in the next season?
Yeah, I could try. I mean, I don't know if Anders Krohn is going to be back or not, but he's been the fast guy, it seems like, in the series. So I think I'm just going to need to make it to more races and gather some points to try and go for a championship next season.
Well, best of luck then in your future endeavors, both in your real world career and, of course, here in the Real Racers Virtual Club. Thank you for taking the time to join us, Nolan, and best of luck in the next season.
Thank you.
That was race winner Nolan Siegel, joining us after leading every single lap of the 13-lap race and dominated the night here today. Now comes the driver we've all been wanting to give a talk to. Matthew Escahana joins us. Second place in the race, Matthew. But you, my friend, are the champion of the Real Race Virtual Club. That has got to be a good feeling.
It is a good feeling because I barely know these guys, but I've enjoyed every moment of it.
Now we take a look at how the race went. It was looking to be a pretty close title fight there. We take a look back and, you know, Rick Sheldon and Hayden Fisher, they tangled, basically handed the win to you, but maybe not for long. Fisher works his way up, and at the end of the day, if Max Butler passed you, you might not have won this one. So was that kind of the goal there, was to keep Max Butler behind you at all costs?
Definitely. I kept looking in the relative timing, and he kept gaining like a 10th every lap, and I think he said he messed up once or twice, almost lost it, so that gained me just enough cushion. But yeah, I was just trying to stay clean and not, go off.
So we look forward, of course, you look over the course of the season. It's been a good season for you all the way around, and certainly no doubt look forward to seeing you racing as well in future races. So what do you think the next season is going to be looking like for you? Do you plan on maybe going out there and defending your title?
I do plan on coming back. That was a lot of fun. I haven't done a private league like this before, so I'm hooked. Whatever cars, whatever tracks, I'm there.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Once you start a league, you never go back. That's a common phrase with a lot of the leagues here on iRacing. Well, congratulations on a very, very well-deserved championship today. You did everything you needed to get it done, and well, hopefully you can go out there and defend it again next season.
All right, thank you guys. Your broadcasting was A+. We love watching it.
And ladies and gentlemen, defending champion now, Matthew Escahana, bringing it home at Road America with a second place finish and a season finish, first place on the day. Very good run all the way around. Next driver up, Max Butler, going to join us up here in the broadcast booth. Final driver on the podium. Max, you were looking to really give Matthew that run for his money there in the closing stages of the race.
Yeah, until turn 8, and I made a mistake. It was the scariest mistake of my life because I lost the car into the corner, and I literally had to let go of the wheel, and I caught it on the button that looked right, and I had no idea what was going on. So the fact I even kept it on track, I'm fine with third, honestly. I thought I was going to be done.
Well, it was certainly a good run for you all the way around, but you still finished up on the podium there. We saw a couple of drivers having those little bit of an issues, but the attrition rate was definitely not nearly as high this race as it was before. And honestly, Road America is a track that's very well liked by a lot of people. It's got the long straightaways. What's your favorite part, though, about the season finale facility here today?
It feels like you have to constantly ride the edge of the track, and you just constantly have to get as much speed out of every single corner as possible. But if you put an inch wrong on this track, you are losing the car faster than you could save it. So being on the edge the entire time is amazing, and the length itself keeps it fresh all around. It's not like a small track where you're repetitively hitting the same corners. Each corner is a little bit different. You have to really memorize each one. So just being on the limit through everything is so amazing here.
We saw you in your own championship battles here earlier on in the season. You yourself, I believe, have managed to secure the 5th place overall in the standings. Do you plan on maybe going for even higher positions, potentially for a points podium in the next season?
Going for the championship. And I got 5th in the championship, and I'm still covered in champagne right now. So, you know, I'm going for the championship next time, and I'm excited to get this thing rolling again.
Well, then here's to hoping that you'll have a good season. Like you said, still covered in champagne. We'll let you, no doubt, go dry yourself off by now. So, good job, by the way, on that 5th place finish and a 3rd place finish in the race. I wish you all the best in the next seasons going forward.
Thank you so much. Shout out to all my friends and family watching, especially Wade, Ben Teeter, and my dad. You guys are awesome. Thank you for the support.
Thank you, Max, for taking time to join us tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Max Butler bringing the home final driver on the podium today in the season finale. So now we just have the final drivers here to come on and give us in the chat. And this time it is the series organizers to kind of give us an overlook at how the season went so far. Rick Sheldon and David Anderson both joined us in the booth. Sheldon, I want to start off with you here, if I may, in your points battle. You were looking very tight coming into the day, and unfortunately, mistakes throughout the day it cost you the championship. I'm sorry, there's no better way to put it, but it was a rough race for you all the way around, I think it's safe to say.
You know, it was, but I gotta say I had a lot of fun with this race. I just had a lot of joy going into this one. I enjoyed some of the practices that we had, and I knew it was a season finale. And knowing all the new blood that's in here, I knew it was kind of, for at least for a little while until I figure out some pace. I knew it was going to be a while before I got back towards a chance at a podium. So I was like, you know, let's just go and let's have fun. And I don't know what you guys saw, but I know I had lots of good racing. I was passed. I did some passing. You know, we really enjoyed it. So yeah, it wasn't the greatest race in terms of results, but I'm going to take that one as a good time.
It was certainly a good time for us to watch. I mean, in the broadcast booth, we've certainly enjoyed not just this race, but all the way around. Well, Dave, let's look over to you, because you yourself had your own points battle going into this one. You were 3 points behind Max Butler coming into this season finale. Butler, of course, with his 3rd place finish, secured the 5th place in the point standings, but it was a good midfield fight for you all the way through as well.
Yeah, I had a good time. Like Rick said, I mean, I wasn't exactly going to be on the podium here in the championship, but it's a fantastic track, and a lot of fun, and such a good bunch of drivers. I was just glad to be in there dicing it up, and I battled my way up to 7th, and I was chasing down Zach for 6th, and I made 2 4-second mistakes, and in each of those cases, these guys are too good. Zach wasn't making any errors, and Hayden was right on my butt. So yeah, it was a good time. Happy with the race. In the end, I wanted to cross. We were sort of Ford versus Ferrari here. Rick and I got to cross the line together. So that was my hope.
Which was good.
That's good. But yeah, everybody had a really good run up front. There was a lot of good racing in the middle. Like Rick says, you guys can't watch it all, but man, it was a good race, and man, we love this track. I'm looking forward to be back on this track again.
Oh, you and me both. This is personally one of my favorite tracks we got in North America as well for racing. It's got everything you need: the long straights, the hard braking zones, talked about at the top of the broadcast. So I can't wait to be back here as well. And now I'm going to turn to both of you here. We've seen how the season's gone so far. Every single race has been action-packed from start to finish. It's been an absolute thrill to commentate. What do you guys think of the season so far? Of course, you guys are some of the guys that headed it all up. So what have been your thoughts so far, and what might be coming up going forward?
Well, I'll take the first part and I'll let Rick take the second part. I just think that we saw a huge amount of change and improvement through the year, and we brought in some new guys and some fantastic drivers in this thing, and really the season turned out better than we could have hoped, with a great bunch of competition, a lot of drama in the end, people who were fighting for different positions, and guys like Matthew, who got a fantastic podium today to win the championship. I mean, that's great drama, and it was a great group of guys who just got better every week and forced each other to get better, and I gotta say, it's some really fantastic racing. So the season could not have gone better from my standpoint. With that in mind, we'll start thinking about next year, and I'll you ask what's up next. Rick can talk a little bit about that.
Sure. Yeah. We're going to take a little break. We're going to copy our slightly richer Formula One brothers and take a summer break. What we're going to do is kind of recalibrate a little bit, but we've kind of settled into a good pack of tracks. We're going to maybe make a few minor adjustments. What we realize is good racing comes from everybody really understanding these tracks. So you kind of have to go back to them. So you're going to see the ones that we think were the best tracks return, and maybe 1 or 2 others. We're really trying to get 4 to 6 more guys in. We'd like to see the grids between 15 and 18, maybe somewhere in that range. And we're close. We're really close. And it is a development league. So if you take a look at the way Dave and I were driving as an example in the season 1, we couldn't even have made this grid. And so we've improved that much in just 2 seasons. And what we're looking for is to just help the next wave along and make us, instead of maybe the back markers here, we're going to get the middle, force our way up to the front, and bring on 4 or 5 new guys that maybe we can coach up.
Yeah, in addition to the coach up, there's some of the other pros who made a few steps in this time around, and we're hoping make a more regular appearance because it makes for some really good racing, and again, it improves all of us.
Yeah, Anders was supposed to be here tonight, but he had an eye visit that led to him needing to have a little work on an eye, so he couldn't make it. He's been pretty much a regular the last half of the season. Nolan, it's great to have him whenever he can show up. He's such a great young pro. We've got Stefan Wilson, who basically couldn't come out due to the whole Indy thing, and now he's doing some coaching. He wants to come back out next season and run hopefully 3 to 5 races with us. And our goal is to double that group as well, and get 4 to 5 pros regularly out with us, teaching us the way. And this thing's on the right track. No pun intended.
Well, here's to hoping then that things will be looking good going forward. Like you said, a lot of big things hopefully going to be coming in here really shortly. The upfield size, the slightly revamped grid. Of course, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, from the looks of how this season's gone so far, it certainly has not been broke at all. This has been an absolutely thrilling season to commentate. Honestly, one of the most thrilling seasons with a lower car field that I've ever seen in my life. So I have to give you guys props as well for being able to put this on the way you have.
So that's because we can't tell, we're pretty new to this. Dave and I just got our sim rigs at the end of last year, and we're really track day guys. And our whole vision was to really show that this is not a video game kind of thing. We really want guys to work at it and go for it and get the best racing they can possibly get out of it. But you're telling us that you really feel this is at that level. That really means a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Of course, RaceSpotTV always makes every race better. So we appreciate you guys the way you do what you do. But we are looking at a few things that are going to make it even more exciting. I mean, we get 20 cars. I mean, we got guys. Our grid today was half a second to a second apart, mainly at qualifying. So it's always tight, and then it becomes questions of perfection versus mistakes. But we're gonna toy with some things. We might do standing starts next year. That's gonna create a little more turn one drama. We might do again bigger fields. There'll be some other things that I think are gonna make the series really exciting. So stay tuned, and we'll be in touch on all that.
Hey, I'm not going to complain about standing starts. They're some of the best starts you can have, in my opinion. They definitely raise that turn one excitement that everybody seems to crave. Well, thank you guys for both taking the time to join us here tonight, and thanks for hosting us as well. I mean, it has been an absolute joy being able to, look at this series every Tuesday night and look forward to be able to cover in the next race. And I am certainly, hopefully, looking forward to covering the fall season as well.
Thank you very much, Nolan, and Dylan. Thank you very much. And for Arjuna, wherever you may be, we missed you, buddy. We hope you come back as well. We like all of you guys. And Hugo as well. Thanks so much for Hugo Lewis.
Genius.
Yeah.
Great job all around, Race Spot. We appreciate it. We'll be seeing you guys soon.
That was the series organizers, Dave Anderson and Rick Sheldon, doing a great job as always, both behind the scenes and on the track, to help provide some of the action that you've been seeing here tonight. Well, that is going to be about all the time that we are going to be having for one night. Dylan, wow, what a season finale. All the drama in the world that you could possibly want. At the end of the day, though, Matthew Escahana comes out on top. So, in a quick nutshell, I know you haven't been with us for the whole season yourself, but why don't you give your quick rundown on how your few races have been with us so far as well?
The coolest part to me is how close everybody seemed to be able to run together. I mean, it's very rare that over a 4-mile track you're seeing drivers within a second of each other. That's impressive, and you know what, something I love to see, and I hope I see more of that. We saw some really interesting racing tonight. Obviously we had a few incidents, but that's all because we're seeing all of these drivers fighting for a championship, and that's what we want to see. We want to see hard racing, which also leads to mistakes because of that interesting battle for really the end of it all, the battle for the winner of season 1. And you know what? It was a great end to the season. I'm happy I was there at the end.
I'm certainly glad it's been a great season as well. I mean, no more thrilling season to commentate, in my opinion, than what we've been seeing here so far. Well, unfortunately, that is going to be all the time we are going to have. So, from the Real Racers Virtual Club, I've been Little Rempo with Dylan Coy beside me in the booth. Eagle Louise down behind the cameras for today's race. Matthew Escahana, your defending champion. We'll have to see what he can do come fall. Good night.